Hello everyone, and welcome to Throwing in the Towel, the weekly series where I take a hard look at the NFL's losers and decide which team's season is officially cooked. I'll go division by division, crown an AFC rep, an NFC rep, and finally pick the one team to throw in the towel on this week. And we start, per usual, in the AFC East, which has a lone representative in the Buffalo Bills. The Bills continue their weekly ritual of testing the limits of stress in Western New York. Josh Allen still produces magic, but the turnovers and stalled drives keep undercutting every spark. The defense looks worn down and inconsistent, elite on one drive, exhausted on the next. It's a team that has no talent, or a team that has talent, sorry, but no rhythm. And also, when your quarterback gets sacked 8 times, you're not going to really win that game. Over in the North, we have a lone representative in the Steelers. And the Steelers look like a team trying to duct tape an offense together and hope the defense saves them again. Spoiler, it didn't. Pittsburgh's offense still has no identity, no rhythm, and no real threat to strike quickly. Everything is a grind and defenses know it. The defense can only hold the line for so long, and in Week 12 they fell apart under the weight of carrying the entire operation. Which, I will admit, in fairness to Mason Rudolph, he did have a couple turnovers, but he didn't play terrible. But it just wasn't going to be good enough to win the game. Over in the South, we have a lone representative in the Colts. And the Colts did themselves no favors by allowing the Chiefs to come back from 11 down in the fourth quarter and losing in overtime. Now the AFC South is much tighter, with Indianapolis holding a 1-game lead over the Jaguars and 2 games over the Texans. Over the next 2 weeks, the Colts play the Texans, followed by the Jaguars. Shane Steichen's squad still controls its own fate, but the team has come up small during 2 of its last 3 games. Indianapolis' vaulted offense was slowed down by the Steelers and then the Chiefs, until the Colts start to play complementary football. Concerns about losing control over the division are very real. So hot start for this team, and it has cooled off considerably. And in the West, we have no representative. The Broncos and Chargers are on a bye, while the Chiefs picked up a win, and the towel has been thrown in on Raiders, who lost miserably. So then that moves us over to the division representatives. Like I said, it's all lone representatives. So the East is the Bills, the North is the Steelers, and the South is the Colts. Pretty tough cast to pick from here, but of these 3 teams, somebody had to represent the AFC this week, and that team is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that started off the season with control of the AFC North, and gradually over time is their control over the division is slipping away from them, while the Ravens are getting healthier and stacking up wins. Now Lamar Jackson looks a step slower, but they're still winning games. Now we move over to the NFC side of things, and we start per usual in the NFC East, which has a lone representative in the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles looked flat again, the offense stalled, the run game disappeared, and the defense got pushed around more than expected. Philly still has the talent to bounce back, but Week 12 exposed a lack of focus and some concerning cracks, as well as more chatter about the status of the offensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni sticking by him for now, but how much longer is that going to last? Over in the North, we have a lone representative in the Vikings, and the Vikings are running out of ways to pretend the season is still alive, if they are even pretending. The quarterback play is shaky at best, the offense has zero explosiveness, and the defense collapses anytime momentum shifts. The injuries, inconsistency, and lack of identity all caught up to them in Week 12. It felt like the official, yeah, it's over moment. And especially when the quarterback throws 2 interceptions and are even think he topped 100 yards, which is just simply inexcusable when you have Justin Jefferson at wide receiver. Over in the South, we have a lone representative in the Buccaneers. The Bucs keep floating around in the not terrible, not good zone. Baker Mayfield flashes, then disappears, and the defense can string stops together when it matters. Tampa's flaws aren't massive, but they're persistent, and they keep holding this team back. And injuries, if this team had been able to maintain some health, this team would probably be in a better spot than it currently is, but the injuries just continue to be a battle for them, and now Mayfield's injured, and they get an AC sprain, so thankfully not season ending, but it's certainly going to be a potential problem for them. Granted, they play in the NFC South, and at this point their only competition looks to be the Panthers, but the Panthers has to prove them Monday night. They are all over the place, and oftentimes when they're playing bad, it's because they can't get out of their own way. Over in the West, no representatives this week. The Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers all picked up wins, while the towel has been thrown in on the Cardinals. So then that shifts us over to the division representatives. Like I said, it's all lone representatives, so it's the Eagles in the East, the Vikings in the North, and the Buccaneers in the South. Of these three teams, somebody had to represent, and I think it's fairly obvious who that is. It's the Minnesota Vikings, a team that is probably regretting its decision to ride with McCarthy as a quarterback and let Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones walk out the door. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers was available and you still passed on him, and now McCarthy's in concussion protocol. So once again, he is injured. So from there, we move to the recap section. Looking things over, the Panthers are really the only team that are, I would say, out of this whole bunch, like at least at 500, or I think they are 500. They're 6-6. Don't quote me on that one. I should have looked at their record before I started recording, but tough loss against the 49ers that showed that once again this team is not playoff bound. Looking at the rest of this list, the Browns got a win with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback, and looks like they will stick with him for at least another week, which is good. I think we all saw enough of Dylan Gabriel to know that he's not the guy at quarterback. The Raiders fired another coordinator. First it was their special teams coordinator earlier this season, and now it's their offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, which I will admit, I thought it was an underwhelming hire, and sure enough, it didn't pan out. The Giants said that E right next to them is eliminated. They are the first team mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and also they fired their defensive coordinator as well, which makes sense considering how that defense, considering the Giants can build a lead, but did not maintain a lead. I mean, they could have had that game against the Lions won, and they just kind of fell apart towards the end. Granted, I understand Jameer Gibbs is a tough assignment, but still. So the Giants, go figure, are the first team to be eliminated from the playoffs. The Bengals are getting Joe Burrow back. I doubt it will matter, but sure, the sentiment's nice. And the Commanders are still waiting on the return of Jaden Daniels. Doesn't sound like he will be back for Week 12, though. So from there, we move on to this week's team. As you recall, the Super Bowl matchup is the AFC. In the AFC, it's the Steelers versus the Vikings. And the NFC, I think that was an actual Super Bowl matchup at one point, if I recall correctly. Either way, of those two teams, the team officially getting a towel thrown in this week is the Minnesota Vikings, my team. I have to do it. I have to throw in a towel on my team. The spark is gone, the fight is fading, and the season is slipping into irrelevance. Too many injuries, too much inconsistency, and not enough production on offense. It's officially time. The Viking season is done. As for the future of this team, I have to say that I think McCarthy's probably out the door. Vikings are now a mediocre football team. I don't think they changed head coach, nor should they. I don't think they changed GM, although I understand that they did, because this is the guy who traded up and draft JJ McCarthy, and then essentially let passed on three good options at quarterback, to stick with JJ McCarthy, spent all this money to build up the team around him, and it just did not pan out. And that's where McCarthy himself, as I said earlier, he's in concussion protocol. He's not ruled out, but it would certainly be something if he was ruled out, and then Max Prosner comes in as an undrafted rookie free agent and outplays him. But as it stands right now, I don't think McCarthy has a future with the team. Maybe they cut him, but at the very least, I could see the Vikings bringing in somebody like Mac Jones next season to essentially take over the starting job for McCarthy. But as it stands right now, I think that's what would change for the Vikings as quarterback. But we shall see how it plays out. And that will do it for the Week 12 edition of Throwing in the Towel. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below. And I will see you all next week for the Week 13 edition.